What happens when a reporter crosses a line they should have never crossed? A moment meant to undermine Karoline Leavitt backfires in the most remarkable way, turning into a powerful testament to her strength, leadership, and resilience. Karoline Leavitt is no stranger to challenges. At just 27 years old, she made history as one of the youngest individuals to hold the position of press secretary. Her career has been a roller coaster ride of triumphs and critiques, and she has tackled each obstacle with unwavering commitment. However, her age and gender have often been points of contention. Critics have openly questioned her qualifications, labeling her as inexperienced or too emotional. But while others might allow such pressure to affect them, Karoline used each critique as fuel, using the doubts and skepticism to motivate her. One afternoon, during a now infamous press briefing, she proved beyond any doubt why she was chosen for this crucial role. The White House press room, often filled with tension, is a battleground of ideas, inquiries, and challenges. It's where the nation's most difficult issues are raised, and where every word spoken can spark a national conversation. That day was no different. The air was thick with anticipation as reporters huddled over their notes, armed with sharp questions, ready to extract sound bites. Among them was Thomas Kent, a veteran journalist known for his no-holds-barred approach. With over 2 decades in the field, Kent was renowned for not just asking questions, but also for pushing boundaries, often venturing into uncomfortable areas. For him, it was more about testing the person in front of the microphone than about obtaining answers. Karoline, true to her character, approached the podium with her usual professionalism. The first few questions were about policies, decisions, and updates, all of which she answered with clarity and confidence, proving why she deserved her position. But then came the moment no one anticipated. Thomas Kent raised his hand, and she acknowledged him with her characteristic composure, signaling him to speak. His tone was casual, but the intent behind his words was sharp and pointed as he began his line of questioning. It wasn't about policy, nor any recent event or decision. It was about Karoline herself. "Ms. Leavitt," he began, ensuring all eyes were on him. "As one of the youngest press secretaries and a woman, do you truly believe you are capable of handling the pressures of this position? Leadership, after all, demands strength, experience, and frankly a certain gravitas that you have yet to consistently display. Don't you think this role would be better suited for someone more qualified?" The question hung in the air, its tone more judgmental than inquisitive, designed not to elicit answers but to diminish her qualifications and challenge her very presence in the role. Some reporters shifted uncomfortably in their seats, sensing the deliberate edge of the question. Others eagerly scribbled in their notebooks, anticipating that this would be the headline of the next day's news. Karoline, however, was not thrown off balance. Her resilience under pressure was well known, but this question was not just about her. It was about something much larger. She understood that such words targeted more than the individual standing in front of them. They represented the systemic bias that often questioned women in leadership, the insinuation that youth equaled incompetence. Karoline wasn't about to let that go unnoticed. With a calm yet firm tone, she responded. "Thank you for raising that point, Thomas," she began, her gaze steady. "This question speaks volumes, not just about me, but about the inherent biases that shape the way leaders are perceived." The room went quiet as the reporters leaned in, sensing the significance of what was unfolding. Karoline took the opportunity to expand on her answer. She wasn't just addressing Thomas Kent. She was speaking to the wider issues of bias and assumption that have haunted leaders like her throughout history and continue to plague them today. "You see," she continued, "leadership isn't defined by age, gender, or the narrow expectations of what a leader should look like. It's defined by the ability to rise to the challenge, to endure criticism, and to lead with purpose in the face of opposition." She paused, letting her words resonate with the room. "While you may consider me unqualified because of my youth or gender, I would ask you to look at history. Florence Nightingale, dismissed because she was a woman, went on to revolutionize modern healthcare. Marie Curie, doubted and disregarded in her time, changed the course of science. Rosa Parks, told to step aside, became a symbol of quiet yet powerful leadership that altered the trajectory of history. These were leaders who were dismissed, underestimated, and ridiculed, but their legacy silenced every critic. At this point, every reporter in the room had their pens poised, frantically taking notes. Some looked up, realizing the enormity of the moment as Karoline dismantled the assumptions held against her. But she wasn't finished. "What your question, Thomas, truly shows," she said, her voice resolute, "is not my lack of capability, but the failure to look beyond preconceived notions. It's this very failure that denies so many talented individuals the opportunities they deserve. Not because they lack skill, but because they don't conform to someone else's narrow view of what a leader should be." By now, the room had fallen into complete silence as Caroline's words continued to resonate. What was meant to be a moment of humiliation for her had transformed into an inspiring testament to her character. Her response wasn't just about defending herself. It was about challenging the limitations others tried to place on her, and on others like her. It was about proving that leadership, true leadership, cannot be confined to narrow expectations or outdated stereotypes. As she wrapped up, Caroline left no doubt in anyone's mind. She was more than capable of holding the position she'd earned. The press briefing, which had begun as a routine event, would go down in history as the moment Caroline Leavitt silenced her critics, proving that strength, resilience, and leadership are not defined by age or gender, but by one's ability to rise above adversity. If you found Caroline Leavitt's powerful response inspiring, don't forget to subscribe for more stories of resilience, leadership, and the power of overcoming challenges.